All right, guys, welcome to another live. Let's get this started. So, thank you very much for coming here today. And today we have an exciting thing. I'm just hiding him. I'm trying to do a new rendering a couple of videos there. So, what we're going to be focusing today is I'm just going to mute my microphone here. So, just want to talk about a new service that I released, which is called, the name is the Dev Backend. Basically, and is focused for Unreal Engine and is to make anyone that wants to build an online game with multiplayer services like login screens, leaderboards, add items, currencies. I'm gonna show how this is working, and we're gonna create a login screen together using this new service that you can try right now on the dev.thedevrealm.com. All right, it's a free service. And we have a couple of tiers here. So basically how it works is that you install a plugin, which is about to be released on the Unreal Engine marketplace. I'm just gonna actually fix my microphone here. And then you're gonna be able to use this on your game. So let's just get started, man. Let's just go. I'm very excited about this. It's a product I've been working for a while. If you guys notice, I've been not very present on the channel. It's because I was working on this stuff a lot as well. Because it's making my life easy, and I hope it make your life easy as well. So I'm just gonna open up here one of the examples I have, and we're gonna be creating here a login screen together with a registration page, with everything set up from scratch. Right, so the first thing I recommend you guys, if you wanna give it a try, is that basically now on this website, we need to create an account, right? And basically it's just a simple sign-in page, and we have the tiers here. And basically whatever you need, if you're trying to create a big product or if you're trying to just create a small product, you can use the free one. But we have a bunch of things here there to make our life easier. So let's just get started. So first thing we need to do is that on your game, on your Unreal Engine, we will need to go to, I think it's plugins here, and make sure you have the DevRealm installed, the DevRealm backend. So I am gonna as I say, about to release on the DevRealm, on the Epic Games, the store. But you can download it on the website, the DevRealm as well, if you want to try early on. And basically all you have to do now, the way it works is after install, we're gonna go back to, I think here on the window, I'll just go back here to the preferences. And the way you set up this is that by going here on the DevRealm backend, and now we're gonna need to add our own API keys, and this stuff is very easy to set up. It's just some things that we have to do. Now to do this, let's just get started. I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna actually use my personal account because I was just testing the service, so I bought like a service subscription. So now here, the first thing you need to do is, let's just go back to my projects here. I'm going to delete all the projects. I'm going to start from scratch. All right. So I'm going to create a new product, and I'm going to call a project, sorry. And I'm going to call this test live. And I'm going to go ahead here and press test live. Perfect. Now, don't worry about your API key. So just go ahead here. Let's just test on the live. And on this system, you can do a bunch of things. You can set up leaderboards. You can set up the players, remote configurations, widget. I have a more in-depth tutorial that I'm about to release. As you guys know, I'm doing the render right now, but I'm gonna be releasing that later on. But we have inventory system. So if you're trying to build this multiplayer service, this is gonna help you a lot. And it doesn't necessarily just need to be multiplayer. You can try to build a single player as well game, and if you want to try to make it so it saves your inventory system, you don't want to deal with all that stuff, you just want to focus on the game, you can use this service as well. All right, so let's just go ahead here and try to set up. So all you gotta do is expand this the Unreal Engine plugin, and the first thing we need to do is just copy the game keys. So I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna copy my game key. I'm gonna copy my API base URL, so you do need to copy this here. Right? And the last thing is just the super base anon key, which is something that it's required to use on the back end. And that's everything we need to do. Nice. Now let's create a login system, right? So I'm gonna just delete the things that I was working here before. I don't need all this stuff. I'm gonna create one from scratch with you guys here. So yeah, everything's fine. Everything's working. Don't need this. So yeah, let's just create a traditional login screen. Right. So I am gonna basically go and create now a blueprint, right? WPP login screen or registration screen. All right, nice. So I'm not gonna focus on creating a super UI. I'm just gonna create something very basic. So let's just bring here a vertical box. Let's bring here a text, which is gonna be our label. Let's bring here a text field, and then let's add a separation spacer. And on the spacer, we're gonna add 20 or 10, but 20 is fine. And I'm just gonna copy all this stuff, copy and paste as well. Copy that, copy and paste. Now I'm just gonna create a very basic registration field, just like a website. You know, imagine that we're trying to build a website here. Usually, this one is the email, and this one is gonna be the password. Pass, right? And I'm gonna add here a box, a border. I'm gonna add just like a button. Sorry. Nice. Now I'm gonna add a text inside the button, and this is gonna be the boring part. After we're gonna do some cool stuff here, and this is gonna be a button called register. All right. And here we're gonna type just register. Perfect. And we're gonna add a spacer, and that's it. Perfect. Now that we have all this stuff done, okay, we can actually hook up the logic to actually register the user. And to do that, you know, super simple stuff, like to start from the bottom. So we're gonna click on the button here. It's gonna delete all this stuff. And here I'm just gonna rename to email input, and on this one's gonna be password input, so we know what we're trying to do here. Now imagine that if you're trying to create like a MMO or any actually game that requires some kind of online services, even local players, well, you can do, right? Like a single player. Let's get a text and get the text for both of them. Right, what I would like to do here usually, okay, is I like to convert to string when I'm trying to create fields, right? And do it here as well. Now what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to check if those fields are empty. I'm going to add a validation field for like a generic thing, you know? So is empty, and that's all we have to do, right? And then we're just going to create here or, right? And we're going to do something like this, and I'm going to create a branch. This is going to be our login screen or the registration. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up this with our services. All right, so we did this, perfect. Now, if is something wrong, right, if they're empty, I am just going to do a trick that I usually do on websites, which is just add a normal message here, right? And we're going to call this validation message, all right? Now, make sure it's a variable. And then what we're going to do is get this set text, which is going to be probably this one here. And we're going to say something like, please check email or password. Something very, very simple. And then what I want to do is I want to set the visibility visible so it shows up the field. And then after a while, we want to make maybe a delay, you know, just at the delay of like 2 seconds or something. And then we can just copy and set the visibility to collapsed. And as usual, I like to add error messages red. It's kind of very red color. This is a horrible color, but it's fine. And then we're just going to make a visibility to collapsed by default. So when you press play, you don't see that, right? Okay, that's perfect. Now, when we registering, if everything goes well, what we are going to do here is we're just going to align all this stuff. And here's where the fun starts, right? So now if you right click and you search the dev realm, there is a bunch of nodes that I created here to make anyone that's trying to create a service easy, right? As an online service. And the first one we want is something called quick registration. And by the way, before I carry on the website, if we go here and you go to the documentation, you have access to, for example, how does the authentication work. You can come back here, you have how do you log in, you can use the blueprint, how do you register, you know, you have access to all of it, so just feel free to check the documentation as well. Nice. So to register, all we have to do here is just align like that. Perfect. And now I'm gonna copy and paste those things. So I have the password and email. I'm gonna add the password, the email, right? We do need a display name, right? We don't have to add that. It's just that sometimes it's nice to have. So this one I'm just gonna use. I'm gonna actually use here display name, I guess. We can just, for example, copy this and paste. No, it doesn't work like, okay, that's fine. I'll just duplicate it after the space. And as I say, this is just the boring part, you know, setting up all those fields here. Perfect. And this is gonna be something like name, you know, you can add as a name. Perfect. And it's gonna be name input. Now, what we need to do is the same. Copy, paste here. And I am gonna add it right there. Perfect. And I'm gonna add it here. Nice. Now, what this is gonna do, it will register a user. And if the user doesn't exist, we need to handle that in a different way, right? There's a couple of things we can do here. But first of all, if I press play, nothing gonna happen because I need to add that to my user. So let's just go ahead here and go back to our play controller, which I'm just testing around it. And I already had the logic done before. I was testing before the live, but so anyway, I just add a widget, add to the viewport, you know, nothing crazy, just a normal widget. Press play. Now I have the form. This doesn't look good, so let's just go back and fix that. Let's just go and create a widget within a widget called WP registration page. Now I'm gonna open up the registration page. I'm just gonna add a canvas, and that canvas is just gonna be this one, and we're gonna anchor on the middle, 500 by 400, 0.5 here, like that. Perfect. Looks okay. Doesn't look the best page, but it looks fine. You know, we'll do it for now. Okay. Now we just need to add this WP registration page. Registration, maybe we can call this register and login page. And I call it page because it comes from the back, from like a development perspective, but is widget. But anyway, we can add here, and now look at that. All right, let's see what happened. So if I put my email, so let's just put here test at, right, gmail.com, right? And the name is going to be test, and the password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 9. So very simple stuff, and register. Now I don't have a feedback. We need to handle the feedback, but let's double check our backend. Let's see what happened. Look at that. I have a player already, and the player was registered right now. So as you can see, this is super easy to add players. But now we need to improve our flow, right? Now, if you want to kind of handle the responses and issues or anything that you want to specifically do here, all you have to do is create a custom event called API handle register. Perfect. And now we can do something like a break, and we're gonna do a branch, right? Now what we can actually do here is create a print and create two prints. So the second one is if there's an error. Let's just get an error message, and let's see what happened. If I press play, let's just try to use the same user, Mario, and let's just use the same password, register. You see, email already registered. Do we have an error code? Let's just double check if we have a code, because if we do, what we can do is that we can try to handle this. You know, like when you try to create an MMO, you see email-exists. So if I just do it again, I can just do that here. I'm just going to take a picture. So what you can do here is that if something happened, we can get the error code and do something like, let's say, email-exists, right? Is that how I did? Let me just check here. Email exists. Oh, email dash. One thing I'm probably gonna do is improve how we like having a better codes. Exists, yeah, because it has to match. So I'm probably gonna make it so instead of returning a string, it returns a code. But with a string, it will do fine as well. It's just don't save here. So what I'm going to do is create a branch, right? And if that is the case, so if this is the case, now look what we can do here. What we can do is that I can collapse this to, let's say, a function. And this function, oh yeah, I can't use this as a function because of this delay stuff. But we can do something different. I can collapse this for a function for now. And I can call this fn handle message. All right. And now I am just gonna add this one here. Handle message. Perfect. And let's just saying this message is like email or password invalid. And this one I'm gonna copy. And this is fine, so we got all that data coming here and there. Perfect. So this happened there. Hello, email exists. I'm gonna paste it there. And I'm gonna say something like email is invalid. All right. Nice. Now what we can actually do, that the email is invalid, I can see what happened here. So it's just gonna try again. Just gonna copy this, copy 1, 2, 3, register. Now I should see email it's invalid, right? So now we can kind of actually handle that for us. And this is basically conclude us the part where we handle the registration. So now what I can do is on this designer here, I'm gonna add a button right there, and this button is going to be here. I'm going to add a text, and this text is going to be, let's say, login. So this is going to be just a login button, login btn. Now I'm going to log in, and then I'm going to create another one which is going to be like a register btn. All right, and I'm just gonna put those two inside a horizontal box, just so we can switch between the UIs, right? And this is gonna be a login, and this is gonna be a logout. Nice. And logout actually no, it's just gonna be a register. But anyway, nice. Now we can just make it fill. We can just make it fill here as well. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know as well. I am checking just in case. Anyway, so now we have a login register. Nice here. Now the login is the easiest one. We're just gonna literally duplicate that, and we're gonna call just login, right? Open up the login screen, and now we have added the email. That. I'm just gonna delete this. I don't need that, and I don't need the spacer as well. Now we have this button that can say login, which is fine. Now let's just fix the logic here. I don't need this stuff. I don't need to register the user anymore. I still want to check though. That's fine. But now, look how easy is our, the system to set up. Now I can just do quick login, right? And the quick login just need two things: email and password, right? So I can go back. I can plug just this stuff here. Later on we can clean this up. And this one I'm gonna do something like this: custom event called API handle login, right? And I'm just gonna press break, and let's just do a print. Let's see the result. All right, now I'm gonna compile and save. I'm just gonna do the last boring stuff before we can do nice cool things, which is basically hide the login and the pages here. I know this is a part where I don't enjoy creating login screens, but what I don't even enjoy the most is also creating the backend over and over again, right? So I'm just gonna add this here. Gonna make sure the password email is here. Now I want to make sure that the registration page, the visibility is hidden or collapsed, and the login as well. Let's just, no, the login is fine. Now, if you click on the register, let's just do the switch, very simple stuff. So on click, now we're gonna get the registration page, set visibility, and I'm gonna add it here, and it's visible, and the login screen, oh, not the button, this one, copy paste, go back, edit here, and we're gonna do collapsed. Perfect. And the login is the same thing but the other way around. Now I'm just gonna copy that, paste it, and then we just do the other way around, collapsed and visible, sorry. Perfect. Now if I press play, register, login, look at that, nice. Okay, let's try to login. So let's see what happened. So if I go back, type my super safe password, please don't use this as a password. And let's see, true. Okay, that's good. So now the user is logged in. What happened if I try to put a wrong password, right? You got a false. Now what you can actually do here is that on the game we can actually handle this. I'm not gonna handle that. I'm just gonna do a true or false, because otherwise this is gonna be a very boring video. But I want you to, if you're using this, make sure you handle the error codes. For example, now if I do a print, you get an error code, compile and save, and I type here, let's say that 1 2 3 login. Now you're gonna have like an error, or we should. Ah, yeah, it's because the password is right. Sorry, I forgot about that. Even valid credentials. So it's very generic. So we don't tell your password is wrong, because otherwise people can kind of brute force this stuff. So just make sure that when you have this, handle the error codes as much as possible. Okay. Nice. Now that we have our login, on a successful, we can actually do a print. We can break this stuff, and I can, for example, I don't know, I can get my user display name, for example, and I can go back and I can type here, and then the login. Perfect. Now you're probably asking, okay, what can I do with this? How useful can this be? And how can I use it in my game? So imagine that you are trying to create an online game. What we can do here now is that we can add currency to that player. We can add items to the player, and I'm going to show you how to set up this right now. So the first thing we need to do here in order to set up, let's say, currency, is that we need to go back to our game here, and we go to our projects. By the way, you can also see the analytics here as well. If you want to see if your player is logged in or not, you can see the average. But anyway, let's just go back here to the... And now I'm going to create, let's say, let's start with the leaderboard first. Let's create a new leaderboard, and let's just create here, let's say, imagine you're creating an online game, and let's create here a queue. How many queues do you have? Or something like this. Very simple. Highest first. Reset period, you can put daily, weekly. We can do number, time, or currency. So just gonna put a number, and I'm gonna add queue. So the name of the leaderboard now is queue. So to use the leaderboard is very simple. We are gonna go back to here, okay. We are just gonna basically to be able to open up the leaderboard and start to basically create here, let's say, let me just open up here, score, I'm gonna add gamma score, I just need to quick score, quick submit score, right? And then what we need to do is basically get our leaderboard here, the slug, okay? Go back to that, add the slug here, and so we do a quick login. After the login happen, if it's successful, we are going to score, let's say, 10, all right? Or what I can actually do here is even better. Let's create here a new widget like this. Let's just create the whole logic. Let's make it so we're creating a proper game, right? Instead of just working with this boring concept of like a UI. So I'm gonna make it a blueprint called BP money, or you can call just kill collect, right? Now what I can do, open up, and we're just gonna add here like a cube, something like that. Very simple thing. I'm gonna actually add simulate physics. I do want physics for this cube. And I want to add a sphere, all right? A sphere collision, perfect. And now I am gonna add something like 120, so I can actually see this cube right there, cube collect. If I press play, the cube should just fall off, perfect. Now one thing I want to do is on my game mode, okay, I want to make sure that on the default player pawn, we use the third person, right? Third person character. And if I press play, I have like a character can walk around, you know. So now on the registration page, when I log in, right, I am gonna get the owner, get owning player, and get controller. Sorry, get controller, or I can just say controller, get controller, controlled pawn, owning player. I think I have to do something like that. This is a little bit crazy, but we can just do that. Yeah, let's see. Press play. Let's see. Now I have here, we have the test, 1, 2, 3, login, and there we go. I got the player controller, perfect. Now I'm just gonna do the good and old cast, right? So I'm gonna cast to BP dev backend controller, whatever, right? And now on the player controller, I am gonna do a couple of things. First of all, I'm just gonna add to widget, and here I'm gonna do very simple stuff. Widget. Nice. Now the next thing we need to do is that here we're gonna get this, remove from parent, and then we're gonna basically set game mode only, and we can flush the inputs, or you can just keep it, it doesn't matter, right? All right, so now our character can move. It can't move, it can only move when we press play. So on this case, if it can only move when we log into the application, or in the game in this case. Press login, and there you go. Now you should be able to move. He's not being able to move because the controller that we're using here does not have the, I think it's just, what is it? It's not loading up this stuff here that we need to do. Touch control, whatever. I'm just gonna copy this stuff. Okay. And I'm gonna go back to the player controller here, and I'm just gonna paste it. We can create, sure. And we're just gonna create here a custom event called API load control, API move, right? Plug it out, perfect. Now we're gonna go back, and I mean, to be honest, we don't need this stuff. Yeah, we don't need that stuff. We just need this one here. Okay, compile and save. All right, guys, so now we have this stuff done, and now we're just gonna call the API move stuff. So after the login, now the player can move. And let's see. Edit here. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. Login. And now I can move. I can't move the controller, but it's fine. As long as I can get near the cube, it's okay. Alright, so now we can actually move the player around and we can do stuff. So now we have created a leaderboard, alright? But the leaderboard has no one on the leaderboard. Now, the thing we have to be aware is how we can interact with the leaderboard and show these and make sense if you're trying to create a game, right? So on the cube, which is right here, what is it? Q collect, perfect. Now, I can make it. So on the beginning overlap, we can do something like, the actor, I think we can cast to BP third person character, so we can actually do things with it, and we can just destroy actor. Right now, before we destroy the actor, I want to able to interact with the leaderboard, so I can do quick submit my score. Now we need a leaderboard name, which is, I think we just call kill, right? Which is a very boring name. And we can just add 1, and we can do something like increment, for example. And we can do a custom event, and we can do something like break, for example. And then we just do a branch. Usually you wouldn't do that on this example, but I think this is fine. So now let's see. Do rggt. Oh no, that's the wrong email. I have one that I always use to test. And login. So now the character is logged in. Now I touch that, and now as you can see, the cube disappears. Now it does take a while though to send the payload, so usually you want to queue that stuff. But now if I refresh that, look what happened. Mario got 1 score. Now this is gonna get even better, because look how cool is this stuff, right? So now instead of doing this, let's just do it so it disappears like here, so you get a score, right? Always, so we don't have to wait the player. Now what I can do here, guys, it's really cool. I can play 2 players. I'm gonna play both of them as a standalone, Imagine that you have a kind of a simulation game or something that runs locally. So I am gonna just log in one with this 1, 2, 3, 4, and I am logged in. Now on the other screen, I'm gonna register another one called test 1, dr test, doctor test. Let's press register. Hello, so that's fine. Now we can just add the user email 1, 1, 2, 3, login. Now look at that. Now that happened. Now this one happened. And now if you go to the dashboard, look how cool is this. Now the dashboard is being incremented in real time. So you don't have to worry about creating the system for you. But now you're probably asking, but how can we make this useful? So you can go back here and we can go to our widget builder, for example, and you can select theme, right? For example, I'm going to use the Amber one, and I want you guys here, direct link, you can copy. I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to add it on the chat if you want to try for yourself. And this is going to update in real time. So every time that my characters are interacting with that, as you can see, we can interact on the game. So I'm just going to go back to here, right? I'm going to press play and I'm going to stop. I'm going to add here 1. And I'll look how cool this is. I can just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Keep doing that. And now I can add Q. So that's so good. And now if I go back here and I log in with the test 1 account, let's see what happened. Now I go add, and everything's being added. And now if you go back to the dashboard, it refreshes in real time, and you don't have to do the logic yourself. So in this way, it's super easy here. So I'm just gonna close the dashboard. Okay, so this is basically one of the things we can do. We can also do, for example, subtract, right? So if I press play here and I add the test 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, press login, go, and now if I go back to the link on the dashboard, you see that the player score is like decrementing up to the point where just touch it again and then you refresh it, and then you see it's decreasing the value, right? And you can also replace. So for example, you can do something ridiculous like 100 or like a crazy number, and then we press play, and then it's gonna log in again. The only thing is that we have to keep logging in the user, but you can fix that as well. And now if I refresh that, we have a crazy amount of number on that doctor test now, right? And that's pretty much how does this leaderboard works. So it's basically replacing the information on it. I recommend adding the increment or subtract. The replace will just replace the information. You have more other things as well. We have quick track, we have ping and login. We have a bunch of things that you can use here as well. I think that's one of the things I wanted to show. Just go back here. So now we also have the ability to track currencies. So for example, how much money or how much items do you want your character to have? So you can all use this information right here as well. So you can get player inventory, the currencies, the item catalog, and much more. All right. So feel free to explore the project. Feel free to check the documentation. I do want to release this plugin as well. It's going to be available on the dev realm, and it's going to be available on the Unreal Engine, the Fab Store. So feel free to check that one out. The one I just wanted to show is for now, if you want to do things like add remote configurations. One thing as well that's very useful is that you're probably asking, okay, but on my game, if I have to reset my password, how do I do it? Super simple. There is a thing called webhooks that we created. So every time you log in, every time we do something, we send a message. So I'm going to add a new webhook, and I'm going to test it, all of them. Right? And the next thing I want to do here is that there's this website called Webhook Live Test or something like this. This is really cool. Webhook cool. And you can use it to just test stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this URL. I'm gonna paste it here. I'm gonna create a webhook. And now every time on your Unreal Engine that you log in, you do something, we have a full blast online service. Look at that. If I go back to here, he did send a post request saying that the player logged in, which is really good. And now if I go back here and I try to get the items, I don't think they're gonna do anything. I know they actually are. So they also send webhook notifications here as well, you see, which is pretty cool. So you can do a lot of stuff with that. And for example, if you want to reset your player password, you can just do this quick reset password. So you just put the user email, and then you're gonna have a key there, and you can do quick reset, confirm password reset. You're gonna need the token, so the token that the user provides, and then a new password. And that's how you do this implementation. There's other couple of things I wanted to share as well. Is that, for example, if you can use this to track quests. You can even have your own landing page as well. So imagine that you're trying to create a beta. You can use this to get reviews, contacts, and all this stuff. But the main thing of this is just the ability to make your login system, inventory, quests, and all those things easy to use. So feel free to, test it out and see if you like it or not. Let me know if you have any questions about this. And that's pretty much everything, guys, I have for this live. One thing I wanted to share as well is that we have a new cool tutorial now that we're releasing, which is the modular car 2. So feel free to check that one out. I'm gonna add the trailer later on as well. So feel free to check. I think the first lesson, I have to set this up, but basically the first lesson, it's free, and you can download the 3D assets for free. I just need to set it up. And also one thing I wanted to check is that make sure you guys check the certification program as well, where we have, if you want to test your Unreal Engine skills, you can use this one. Once again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.